I was connected to Ezekiel Guti from a very young age. First and foremost, it was Andrew Taunashe, where my oldest sister, second born in my family, attended in the early 80s. And then soon after that, it was Ezekiel Guti, who became also my brother's patient. Okay? Right. I can publicly disclose this because my brother told me things about Guti which were for my personal benefit, and they were also for our family's benefit, and I can share with them now with people who I feel I also need to protect. But quickly, I also have personal experiences. I was connected to Ezekiel Guti at my sibling level. So I've got two siblings. One of them, who actually, if you didn't know, is still an official in Zioja today. Not a small official. The second born in my family, who Hubert Angel used to try and poison me when I was investigating the gold mafia, is Guti's representative in Europe at present. If you want me, I can tell you their name. Those who are from Zioja will know my sister's name. So my sister is officially Ezekiel Guti's representative in Europe right now.
Yeah, but Simba,
Okay. So let me
maybe
finish. Let me finish. Let me finish.
I
Let
don't
me.
know whether it is safe to say that on a public platform.
Well, I'm just saying it. Well, it's actually public. It's actually a public record. Okay.
He
So
has said it before so many
yeah.
years ago.
So quickly.
I'm sorry. Is Simba saying that his sister tried to poison him?
No, no. I said no, no, no. Please let me finish. Do not twist my words. I said Hubert Angel tried to get to me to poison me through my sister. I'm not saying my sister carried poison. Get that right. But there was a time, if you notice my conversation with Hubert Angel, he even mentioned a bit of this in March 2018 when I was investigating him. When he called me and when Shepard Bushiri had gotten into trouble over money laundering, and Hubert was trying to bribe me, he even mentioned my sister and him using his wife to try and get to me. So quickly. So my sister is still a top official in Zioja. I myself was also a high profile person in Zioja at a very young age, twice, at two fronts. Number one, I was the the piano player at Ezekiel Guti's business forum that was called um, ACBF, that used to meet at Railton Club, where Strive Masiwa attended. And that is when I met Strive Masiwa. And I was their official piano player when I was a teenager. And when I decided to leave Zioja, because I wanted to assist another church in 1999, they begged me to stay. They did not want, because I was multi-skilled. I had so many skills that I was offering the church, of course, for no payment. And not only was I important to Zioja at a personal level, I was important because my brother was offering service. The oldest in my family was Guti's personal doctor for more than 30 years. So my family is very high profile in terms of connections to Ezekiel Guti. Number four, Reason Chikore, who is Simba Chikore's twin brother, who is also Ezekiel Guti's son-in-law, was my childhood friend. So what you will notice that when Guti died and I published something, we actually had a conversation on my Facebook profile. So if you go on my Facebook profile and you type reason, just type reason, not Wafawarova, but reason Chikore or Mutsahuni, you notice we actually had a conversation over my involvement and why I was speaking out. Simba Chikanza was speaking out against Ezekiel Guti to expose people. And it was revealed that, and it is a public record, that even when he was alive, I consistently exposed Ezekiel Guti. Now, why do I do this? You notice that, as I told you before, Andrew Taunashe, in his sermons, not a week passes by without him mentioning my name personally. I deal with him directly because these people, him and Guti, affected not only my family but also myself personally. When I developed a a determination to expose scammers, I learned it as a victim, and the first person, the first Wicknell that I noticed in my life, in my personal life, in our family, who tried to rob my family is Ezekiel Guti and Yuna Guti. And I recall one particular service at Amphik Bible College where I developed a horrible thing that I can't explain, but I can tell you quickly. Yuna Guti and her staff sprayed something so that we would be induced to think that we need deliverance from her. And while we were there, it was in 1993, it was. I was still a teenager. Yunaguti was ministering at Amphik Bible College. And then she started talking about deliverance and people needing deliverance and all sorts. And I went up there, and people were made to behave, and most of the time even instructed to behave in ecstatically, ecstasy. And then there was this tongue talking, which it was instructed. It wasn't real. It wasn't by the Spirit of God. Now you need to understand here, to people who might feel that maybe I'm not a Christian, you notice that Reason Chikore, who is Ezekiel Guti's son-in-law, gives witness that I was in fact the cream of the crop when it comes to Christians. Even inside Zioja when I was a teenager. And when I gave my life to Christ, I'll tell you that day when I felt, look, I needed to change my life. It was on the 10th of October, 1992. I was actually with Ezekiel Guti's now son-in-law, Reason Chikore, who is also Simba Chikore's twin brother, and Tijita Musikanzo on that day. So my background is as such. I do not have bitterness against Ezekiel Guti. My background in investigative journalism has its roots in physical science, that I noticed that Ezekiel Guti was using tricks and we're talking about here high profile scams that he was running using the Bible. And hear me, even when Strive Masiva, you notice when Strive Masiva posted this, I had sort of like an exchange when Strive Masiva posted when Guti died. I reminded Strive, do not mislead the children of God. Uzanye perevano, iwewe. Guti, when he said this to you, when Guti sent a group of youths to ask you to come to him to be prayed for, I was there. I was the musician then. And while I was on that side, on the Guti side, it was a plot. We actually had to allure you so that your success would be identified with the man that we back then thought we called the man of God. So quickly, let me
to summarize it, Simba.
okay.
To
Yeah,
summarize it.
yeah. So
Yeah, for you
quickly,
to summarize
I
it,
have I have physical evidence that Guti is actually a high profile Wicknell Chivayo. Him and his wife, they are in fact, anyone there who knows the Ngaone, if you are from Ngaone, you know Ngaone people, and ask them, they are witches in Ngaone. Guti left Ngaone and traveled to Mash Central in in Rhodesia, where he then learned that if he could study the Bible, he could become a better witch, a better manipulator, a better scammer, a better Wicknell Chivayo. And that is what he has always been. And what you notice here, he's built this Great institution, great in the sense that it seems impenetrable. The kind of theology that he instructs people, this is his own personal story. No one has ever reviewed any of Guti's books, especially his personal biography. And hold on there, let me tell you something quickly. There is a solicitor, a lawyer in Harare. You can find out this. His name is David Kanokanga. He was one of the first people to question Guti. He was a deacon or an elder back then at City Assembly in Harare when Guti started instructing people to read his personal biography on a Sunday, not read the Bible, just read his biography. And he started saying, look, but this is now becoming a cult. And a lot of people actually started asking these questions. But quickly, my brother, my blood brother, was Guti's personal doctor. And he warned me. I didn't listen. I didn't listen the first year. At that time, I was still young. I've got a 23-year age difference between myself and my oldest brother, who was Guti's doctor for 30 years. And he warned me and told me, this man is a scammer. This man is a materialist. He actually told me, a materialist. When I am with him, he will be bragging about how many properties he has, how many cars he has. There's no God, because my brother, we all came from a Catholic background. So, we're trying to compare the type of preacher that a man should be. Guti was the classic privately. Publicly, when he's out there, he's dressed in a white suit. He's amazing. He's so godly. Privately, you talk to him privately, he is just like Hubert Angel, replica, what you folks saw on the Gold Mafia. So I need you to understand when I started investigating Gold Mafia in 2015, I had at that time, I had spent over 10 years, 11 years in the UK studying books. And do you know what? Getting what we call detoxing my mind and my spirit, reading books, freeing myself. And certain things, certain dots started connecting when I realized that there's so much to this. These people are scammers. And on that time, I, things became so clear. And I didn't know that even people like Benny Hinn, who I loved, I really liked at that time, Benny Hinn, TD Jakes, and the like, I didn't know that they were scammers. So, oh yeah, sure, sure, sure. So quickly, I have had a journey, and do you know what? If someone says that I'm bitter, am I bitter about Hubert Angel? Am I bitter about Makandiwa? Am I bitter about Walter Magaya? My work speaks for himself for itself. I am the author. I am the original author, the author and the founder of the Gold Mafia documentary, and so many other investigations in Zimbabwe that stretch from religion to politics to business. And if you're telling me that I'm bitter against all those people, I don't know, but it would be great to hear from you. Chigana and you Guti Ezekiel Guti and his wife Varoi Kungawone. They are witches from Gawone who came to my area Bindura, and they lied to our people that they're closer to the Almighty. This is how. And quickly, Hulu. Let me quickly quote a scripture which is important quickly, just to show you that these people are not Christians, right? Revelations chapter 12 talks about the most basic fundamental about Christianity. They overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, because they loved not their lives even unto death. Guti taught the opposite of that. Guti told people to preserve your life on earth more than anything else. And he actually taught people to the point of instructing the rituals of going to collect bones, right? Bones from someone's grave so that you can live. He actually his sermon is there. And in the case Jita, so that I would live to 100. And this is a practice that the late President Robert Mugabe instructed Zimbabweans to stay away from. Thank you. All right. All right, Simba. Let's have people then engage with you. Hot seat. So, Owen Tari,
Tinashe Chinomona is still with us, and those who would want to ask questions to Simba. Guys, I want you to make it brief. We will be also bringing up those who are in the request. We are going to give an opportunity to everybody to speak. But in order to do that, guys, I want you to stick to 2 minutes.
By the way, Hulu, quickly, can I say something quickly in one line? The letter that you're talking about, if it is a real letter, that letter does not in any way say anything about the theft of the ZEC money, right? The 1 billion money. So that letter, if it is true, it is a timid letter that is just playing politics. It was written by witches.
Simba. All right,
Thank you.
Simba. Okay, no problem. Yeah, I hear that point. Let us then engage with the people. So hot seat, we move. It's Owen Chari. It is Owen. Then it's Agrigoria. Then it's keeping it, and then we will pick another lineup after that. Okay. So right, those who are requesting, guys, I'll be bringing you up shortly. So now, everybody that is going to speak now, we're dropping you to the listeners because I think we still have a number of requests. We still have a number of requests, guys, that need to come up. So make your submission. Try to package it into minutes. Twice now. Twice. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, don't worry. You coming after keeping it. You coming after keeping it up. I know the lineup. No problem. Don't worry, homeboy. All right. So everybody that speaks now, guys, you drop yourself to the listener so that we can be able to bring others, and then we can be able to bring the curtain down to the discussion. So, ladies and gentlemen, those who have just joined us, don't forget that the hope we have, us and our children and our children's children, let's be the same hope they have, all others, and their children and their children's children, those whose homes we will never know, and those whose nations we will never visit. For the hope of a Zimbabwean child must be universal, because this is about our people, this is about our country, and this is yet another day and another hour that we have to discuss these issues. 10 minutes past 10 in Harare, PM, and also there at 10 minutes past 10 in the city of Bulawayo. Hot seat. Thank you very much, Fulu, for that. Orentari, are you available?
Yes, I am available. Right. Gulu, I'm not going to speak for 2 minutes. I'm sorry. I will lie if I'm going to speak for 2 minutes. It's not possible. So I'll begin by saying, my brother Simbaj Kandaze, I don't want to call you are bitter about Zayoja, but I don't want to have back and forth with you. You know, we have gone through this conversation that time when I was still active in SIMI, and I refused to be part of the conversation. But one thing for sure, Wulu, you had said Simba is going to tell us that he was fired from Zayoja. That's not true. In Zayoja, people are not fired. What they do, if you do a mischief, they discipline you and they put you on the paspeshamu. Paspeshamu means you cannot sing, you cannot read a Bible in front of the people, you cannot do any duty in the church after doing a mischief, something that is not acceptable in the Bible and also in the society. I've not seen anyone who have been fired. And Simba, to be honest with you, yes, you really like relevance, and I know you are an important journalist. But when it comes to Zayoja, to me, you are a junior. I would say you are a junior. Just wait and see as I present to you. You have no significance for day to day. The biggest board that is responsible for firing people from the church to sit down and talk about you in Zayoja. You cannot carry that weight for anyone to sit to say, we want to chase you from Zayoja. But what happens with people who go to Zayoja, they take themselves out of Zayoja quietly after not agreeing with things that is happening. that is not being fired. You fire yourself. Myself, I don't think Wulu, you believe that I joined Zayoja 1989 as a teenager. I'll give you my history like this. I believe this presentation is recorded. So I will not lie in front of Zimbabwe, but I will tell you, I always say, if it's politically or not politically, I always say things that I've gone through myself, my own experience. 1989 in Tafara Mabuku, I joined Zayoja. I was one of the child evangelists, those who used to go around preaching in Zayoja. I was preaching with Solomon Ngorima and Stella Beta, Owen Chari. Then a forerunner, someone who speaks for the first few minutes before main speaker comes in. People like Pastor Clement Musota. Then he was called Zondi. He was a forerunner. Led by Pastor Rume, if you remember that time, as child evangelism. So I don't want to go back to all that, but let me fast forward. The history of rejecting gifts from influential people did not start today if Mama Guti will refuse this gift. If you go and read the history of Zayoja, when Baba Guti started Zayoja, he went to America to a Bible study where he met a rich man who offered him a lot of buses and money so that they will do this church together. And he said, I'll go back home and pray about it. He went to Africa and prayed. And then he gave that rich man an answer to say, God said to me, do not accept monies from this rich man. Go and your people in Africa to talents. That's the beginning of talents. Even today, you hear we want to build a hospital. People, let's work talents. You hear we want to build a university. People, let's work talent. I'm saying this is the history of Zayoja. People who talk about Zayoja without being a member, yes, of course, you want people to just give people information that is not true. I joined Zayoja I come from a poor background, by the way. I come from Akchuras, where we were walking 15 kilometers to go to Tafara to attend Big Sundays. So I know
but my friend Owen Chari, Owen,
enough money.
Owen, listen to this. You know, Owen,
money. Yes, in Zayoja, there's a lot of programs and money issues that are
hot seats, and Owen hear us.
Definitely, that's not a lie, but it's not false.
Owen, sorry, are you able to hear me?
I've survived as a poor guy up until I started driving my first car and all.
Owen,
but
can you hear Hulu?
I never had problems because we were not.
I don't think you can hear us.
I think you can hear us. Owen, are you there?
It looks like I've been muted.
Yeah, Owen, it's because we can't hear you. Can you hear us, Owen? Owen cannot hear us. He's just talking.
Ulu, can you hear me?
We can hear you, Owen, but you can't hear us. Okay. Can I please request my co-host to send him a message?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, right? So Owen cannot hear us, Hot Seat and Zulu. Please send him a message and tell him that we can hear him, but he cannot hear us. Yeah, he won't be able to hear us unless if it drops and it comes back up. All right. So guys, just tell him to drop.
Is it okay?
No.
Can you hear?
I can.
You can hear us now. Owen, can you hear us?
Oh yes, I can hear you now.
All right. So Owen, we did hear the rest of your submission, and so what happens is we just want others to join in that discussion. So can you please land in 60 seconds if you don't mind?
Okay, but if I think I only.
We will still see at the end if we can be able to give you the chance. Because look, when you give a history of the church,
I can
listen.
I wanted to give you the history and understanding of my Guti rejecting a gift. This is not something that I'm formulating or what. You can go to the history of Zayoja. The book is there. Maybe you can even access it online. But there's only one thing that I might want to add on. What happens in Zayoja, if you want to be seen and you want to be up there and see yourself as important, then you fall into a problem because even people who work for the church, you don't just work for the church like that. Not for so long, the president now asked me to join him to at Zegu. And I said, but the time when I really wanted to work for the church, you people were ignoring me because those things happen that people, they tend to bring in people they know and who are close to them. By the way, I'm a friend to Benaya Guti. I know a lot of things in Zayoja, but I cannot finish all. But I want to say to Simba, you need to speak the truth to the people. And I want you to also know that I still remember you tried to bring me in this conversation. I think it was 2019 or 2020. And I told you this reason. And there are so many other instances also you tried to bring me in that I do not agree with. If you want, I can say it, but not.
No, Owen. Owen, it's fine. Let us just bring in some other speakers and let the discussion flow.
Okay,
right, Owen?
Thank you so much. But I really want to rebut Simba. Thank you so much.
All right. And keeping it, I see you have fallen, but we will be bringing up shortly. So Clive told you are from Gawoni, and you have got knowledge of, the Zayoja, but at the same time, our topic, guys, we do have it in terms of what do we learn when it comes to Wicknell Shivayo offering, gifts to people such as, Guti, especially considering that, Guti himself is probably even much more wealthy. I mean, than Wicknell Shivayo himself, and is the head of a church, and capturing that church. Will it work? For Wicknell, and this rejection, does it also equal a rejection of ZANU PF's way of running the country today? So Clive Todd from Gawoni, welcome to the space.
Thanks for
what should you take it up after that? Clive?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
All right, thanks. Yeah, I'm from Chipinge. So Ezekiel Guti was born in Gawoni, but the nearest Zayoja branch that's nearest to where he was born is at a community called Samuta, which is like I think 7 kilometers from the Gemtare Highway, from a turn off to Gombati when you're going to Ngawoni. But before you get to Gawoni, yes, I don't know about Guti and his siblings being wizards and witches, but I know that his father was a very renowned traditional healer. He was well known. He used to he was a part of like the whole community. He went hand in hand with the local chiefs and all that for justice, Batambafa and stuff like that. So yeah, I know that.
So Clive, this is not the first time that I've heard that. I've met some people from Gawoni, and they told me that Ezekiel Guti's father was a witch doctor. Is it true?
That's what I said. He was a Ngang guy. Like he was a traditional healer. That's true. I know the traditional healer part, but it now is up to us to create the distinction between a traditional healer and a witch doctor. But for lack of better word, I would want to
to refer to that just as a traditional healer, because I feel like with doctors name calling and pretty much trying to draw the derogative curtain on him. But apart from that, I can also give my submission concerning this gift and gift rejection. So what I personally think is, at the end of the day, if we look at the patterns that Chavayo has been following of late, the people that he's been giving my gifts, there's a strategy he's following. He's following a certain strategy which works. It's either for him or for ZANU-PF or whatever his final agenda is. So I'll try to quickly walk it through. This is not also the first time that you guys been giving gifts. If you remember when Chiango was the president of ZIFA, he used to receive. I actually do have photos of him receiving cash gifts from Chifayo to ZIFA, right? And we always wondered why, what is Chifayo's motive and all that, right? And then if you look at what has been happening recently, let's say for the past 2 years, with this whole car gifts and cash gifts, he's not following a random pattern. Firstly, he captured the youth by giving these Zimdanzo artists, and all these other people. Because I've actually done that back and forth with Holy Ten, because Holy Ten has been talking shit about those gifts, right? Then he goes for the elderly people. He gave the Nicolas Zagaria. He gave he went for the footballers and the retired footballers. He gave what's it called, Peter and Love, and then he went for the elderly community. It is reserved and it more religious through the Charambas. And now he went to Banamtuguzi. He gave all those guys. He's capturing your favorites, right? So if your favorite is receiving a handout from ZANU-PF, why won't you? That's the message, right? Now he's going for one of the largest communities in Zimbabwe, which is Zaoja, and he's going to give a gift to Mike Guti. At the end of the day, how Mike Guti, reacts and responds to that situation, it's going to be highly influential to everyone who is within Sayoja. If Mike Guti rejects outright, like I don't receive this, the way the Charambas once did when they were supposed to use state-funded instruments, and they were like, you know what, we're not going to do this. If Mike Guti does the very same thing, then it will send a message to everyone who is in Sayoja that don't receive handouts from ZANU-PF. This letter that we just had being read, there's a lot of romanticizing of ways. There's still keeping a good relationship between Zaoja itself as an institution, ZANU-PF and the government, and also Vayo being involved. Because at the end of the day, we don't know where Vayo is coming from. That's the fact. We don't really know where Vayo. I had someone saying that, why would Vayo give Mike Guti a gift? Mike Guti is definitely anti-Vayo. Yes, we know how much Mike Guti has. We just don't know how much Vayo has. If you don't know his source of income, then we definitely don't know how much he actually has. So these are the things that we need to keep on evaluating. Like, is this a mistake? Is this a planned move? Like, what is really going on? At the moment, because right now, Mike Guti, because he rejected the car supposedly, she now acts right now as the highest moral ground for everyone in Zimbabwe. Like, Mike Guti just rejected that car. But let's see how she's going to stand by that. You understand? And let's see whether Jovaya is going to back away from trying to give Mike Guti that car. Why? Because I think that's where the whole, the whole point is. When Jovaya says Ndakachiti G, no one is safe. Like,
all right, all right, guys. We 30 seconds now. I want people to try to stick to the 2 minutes, guys, because we want to wind this up down, right? Okay. So and those who are requesting, you will all be given an opportunity to speak, and we just need people to speak for a short period so that make your point clear. You can do that even in 60 seconds. Clive.
Yeah, in that second, okay. So I think all this build up that I was trying to do, I literally just wanted to show you that when Jefayo said Ndakachi DJ, no one is safe. It literally means everyone. And this whole ending out of cars is him trying to prove his point. Yeah. So thank you. Thank you very much. Let's hot seat. Who is next?
Thank you so much. We have Tapia.
Okay, Tapia, go ahead. Thank you very much. Yes, I just want to speak in general terms. I'm not going to. I was not Sayosha, but of course there was a girl I loved in Sayosha, and that was a triangle in Chires. And that is, I went there. It was really, really electric. And I almost got married. And now I'm hearing stories of funny stories. But anyway, wangochineetsa triangle iwewe wangochineetsa tatiwa chitanamate munzimba munyengwe munhu ayo. So I want to tell you something. I speak in general terms because I can't judge anybody anymore. But so many people are doing whatever they're doing for their own reasons. So sometimes now it's so open that you cannot tell whether they're doing it just to piss us off, or maybe we just have to be